Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. So I made a really cool ending video at Chuckwalla, but unfortunately when I had my phone set up in the car, it was on CarPlay and I didn't get any of the audio. That being said, I'm back here at Go AZ West at the dealership. I'm getting a radiator guard put on my bike. And I also want to go through a review on pretty much how my first experience and feelings were on the circuit with the 2025 Ducati Panigale V4S. So first thing I just want to mention is if you're even thinking about getting not the Lego, but the real 2025 V4S. I think for people who are investing even that sort of money, like you should never get, it's not you should never, like just don't get the base model. Like this whole entire new model is just like based around electronics to make it easier for you to go faster. And that's what I'm about to get into. So what I really experienced on the circuit was, well, even before getting into what I'm talking about, like having the electronic ohms adjustable suspension and electronic steering dampener that works with the whole entire Bosch system and all the motor electronics and the brake electronics, it makes it like an absolute superior bike. So all I have to say is that if you guys are gonna get a brand new 2025 Ducati, just make sure it's the S model because it's significantly gonna make the ride a lot safer, faster, and more enjoyable. And trust me, if you have the money to spend even on a 2025 Ducati Panigale, you can make it worth your V4S. And I made it happen, so could you, in other words. So what I was really impressed with the Panigale, first of all, there's like an obscene amount of electronics settings that you could go into both your race modes, A and B race mode. I was like playing with like my sports setting, and then I was also going between my sports setting, road setting, and then also race B mode. But just like my personal opinion on what I felt made the new 2025 Ducati Panigale V4S absolutely amazing was the ECBS braking system. So if you can imagine coming to a corner really hot, you're smashing the brakes, your full bike gets compressed, and while you're smashing the brakes, if you let go of the rear brake and you start to lean in and you trail brake a little bit with the front brake, it's still going to activate and use the assistance of the rear brake, which made it like extremely stable, and it allowed you to slow down even quicker. So I'd be coming into a corner really, really hot, slam the front brake, come down, the rear brake or the rear wheel was always on the ground, and then I was able to just trail brake, let go of the rear brake, and then just when I let go of the front, the whole bike was like fully committed in the corner, and it just stuck and went completely around. It was like you could instantly notice it versus having to play with the front and rear brake, which I thought was like absolutely fantastic. Another thing which I'm starting to realize was what I would say like backing it in, which I thought was a slide control, but I was wrong. The slide control actually is when you're coming out of a corner and then you're giving it gas under the acceleration instead of the bike sliding out and maybe high sliding. What it does is it allows you to actually like power steer and like power slide coming out of the corner with control and stability, and then be able to stand it up, which is nuts that I didn't even get to that level to even comprehend how that even felt, because I was never giving it enough gas to come out of the corner where my bike was like full on Marquez sliding and drifting out. But what I did experience was something really similar, like how I experienced on the Hypermotard, which was really, really fun, which tunes in with the electronics, is that when I was coming down the straight and I would slam on the front and rear brake, but then I would downshift immediately, what would happen is that the rear end would come out and it would let you do like a little pre-backing in. So like I was able to like hear the rear wheel chirp and slide and back in, but like controlled. Not to the point where you're going to completely back in and flip out, but it was amazing how I could just come in the corner, slam on the rear brakes, and this is on ABS level 5. There's like, I believe like ABS level like 9 and 10, I believe. Either way, there's so many different settings, I have to like dive in more, and I was just trying to set up what I could of the track. But I'd be coming in the corner really, really fast, slam on the front brakes and rear brake, and while my rear brake was fully applied, I would bang through the quick shifter and go down through the gears, which would allow the bike to kick out. So I was coming into a corner and the bike was like kicking out, sliding. And then the Olin steering dampening was just like allowing me to hold it like right there until I let go of the rear, and then the bike would settle straight. Well, like I'd slide like this, let go of the rear, and then the bike would settle back straight, and then I'd take the corner, which made it like an unreal feeling and made it really, really fun. So all I'm saying is that the new 2025 Panigale V4S with the hollow symmetrical swing arm, this is obviously the V4 from the previous model, and yes, I know I need to upgrade my Legos, but having that hollow symmetrical swing arm with all those electronics just made everything feel a lot more like, not like stiff and rigid, but a lot more stable and secure, which was like huge to me because for a lot of people, you might even be watching this video and be like, oh, I'm not as good as rider advanced for you. I'd say I'm definitely intermediate advanced, nowhere near pro level. But this bike allows you to like push those limits and feel those capabilities. So, and I still have so much more to go. So like understanding that the slide control is like when you're coming out of a corner, allowing the bike to like kind of, power steer and slide out of the corner as you come out, which is really interesting. Then also having just the ability that when you are slamming on the front and rear brake, having the ECBS braking system, that makes it so much more safe and stable. Like you could be in the corner applying the front brake and the rear brake is still applied up until when it needs, like up until when it just knows it's enough. And that's the amazing thing about the electronic Öhlins adjustable suspension that is simultaneously working with the Brembo brakes, working with the adjustable steering, stabilizer, and all the electronics on the bike. So that's my first experience on the circuit. It was extremely fun, extremely stable. I was able just to do, I think I did 4 sessions or 5 sessions that day, was nowhere near enough to like dive into more electronics, which I hope I'll be doing soon. And I had my B mode set up pretty much with like, I would say like all the electronic riding modes, but at the lowest setting. So I have like race A mode with everything completely off, which I haven't done. I don't know if I'm gonna do that yet until I like really kind of get more in tune with this bike and master it. And then my race B mode had like ABS on 5, wheelie control on 2, traction control on 3, slide control on performance, because I thought slide control was backing it in, but it's not backing in. It's actually when you're coming out of a corner so that you don't slide like I just mentioned. So the bike is extremely capable and it lets you go faster in a safety net. Like you have this safety net of electronics that allows you to like push the limits whether you're accelerating out of a corner or whether you're coming into a corner really fast or whether you're just trying to try like anything on a circuit. It really allows you to fine tune the bike and make it just that much easier to ride. So my bike is currently here at the dealership. I'm getting the oil radiator guard put on. And then I also have some different Rizoma parts that I have in a box I'm going to do a separate video of. But that was just pretty much my first impression on riding this amazing super bike on the track. And it's definitely a track-specific focused bike. But then again, guys, if you're watching this video and you're deciding if you want to get a Panigale V4 versus the V4S, get the S. By all means, get the S, even if you have to finance the extra $8,000 or pay the extra $8,000. You should do it. Don't get the base model, get the S model. Electronic Öhlins suspension saves lives and it makes the ride that much more stable. I forgot even to get into the suspension, but I was in active dynamic suspension 2 mode, which was like reading the road. I didn't do fixed mode on the track, which everyone thought I should just do fixed mode. But when you go into fixed mode, you have to actually do all the settings. And there's like this map of settings that you have to go down and trickle down. It was just, I didn't have the time to do it. I wanted to ride. I didn't want to miss any sessions. I really need honestly a full 3 or 4 days at the track where I could just do a few laps, get off the bike, tune suspension, make it fixed, or not make it fixed, do dynamic. But having the active dynamic suspension, it was reading everything I was doing. It was reading the slides I was coming into, backing it in. It was reading how much I was braking. It was reading a little bit of the road snakes on the circuit. And it just makes it that much safer and faster to go on this beast of a machine. So that being said, that's all I wanted to say. That was like my thoughts. Pretty much my first track experience. Stay tuned for more videos, and I can't wait just to dive in this bike a little bit more and tell you more about it. But yeah, other than that, everyone ride safe, and if you're definitely going to get this bike, just again, make sure that it is this Panigale V4S model and not the standard, because you're just going to experience a whole different level of symphony of amazing, technology and like a safety net that allows you to ride this bike really, really fast. So stay tuned, more reviews coming soon, more tires, more Rizoma, more track days. And I just need to find like a good weekend or week where I could just like sit and dive into the dashboard and explain to you guys about all these electronics. Until then, thanks for watching.